Hello guys, and welcome to what will be our 2,000 subscriber celebration, even though we're at like 2,300 almost now, which is insane, as we say every single time. But for this video, we thought we would do a Q&A video. So you guys submitted your questions for us to answer. I think I've got about 26 questions here. If we do miss any out, I'm sorry, but these are the ones I found through YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, all of the places they were submitted. So, let's begin. Now this is one which I'm amazed hasn't come up more often, and I think only one person asked this, which is, what does Tiersbaek mean? Well, Tiersbaek is the name of the farm we live on, so when we came up with the name, I mean, did we even consider any other names? I can't remember considering any other names when we came up with the
No, not really.
channel.
We thought something with TV in the end.
Yeah, I think it was just TV, so we just because TV worked quite well with Tiersbaek, it was kind of catchy, so it was just Tiersbaek TV, and then it was TTV, and it was just catchy, and in a way it was a really, you know, if we'd known the channel would grow as much, maybe we wouldn't have, I don't know, because Tiersbaek isn't an easy word to spell unless you speak the language, and even if you speak Danish, which is where we live, Denmark.
It's got a letter that we only use in Denmark.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of spelled we actually spelled Tiersbaek incorrectly, kind of. But it was catchy, and it you know, it's unique because no one else is going to have it.
No.
So that is why it's called Tiersbaek, because it's the name of where we live, and we just put TV on the end. That is the answer. From Land Rover Toolbox videos, thanks guys. Yay, congratulations, blah blah blah. How old are you two, and have you got time for girlfriends? No. I am 20.
I think I'm 21.
He thinks he's 21.
Yeah.
He can't remember. He's still hangover from his 21st birthday, I guess, or something. And do you have time for girlfriends? No.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
We have other things we can spend our time. I mean, they're equally as expensive, those things.
If not more.
Yeah. Q&A, what's a random British guy doing in Denmark surrounded by Land Rovers? Yeah, some of you may or may not know. Well, I never know what to call myself, because although Nissa and I are cousins, if you didn't already know, and Nissa is Danish, he's lived in Denmark his whole life. I am British, but kind of half Danish as well. So I've spent most of my time living in England, although I've spent time living all over Europe. So I'm English by nationality. I have an English passport, but I have Danish family as well. So I can also claim to have a Danish citizenship if I want. So, but basically the short answer, that was a terrible answer, but the short answer is I moved over to Denmark to study. I came here for university. I finished that a few months ago, and I've decided I want to stay here, partly because of this channel and it's the way it's going, and partly because I love life out here and I enjoy being in Denmark. So that's why I'm in Denmark. Nope, we've done that one. What things do you like to do other than play with Land Rovers? For me, well, we're both big gamers. Yeah. We're both into PC gaming, which I know some of you guys are actually. So PC gaming, I'm big into CrossFit, and I mean, yeah, apart from, if we take out making videos and cars, then mine would be CrossFit and gaming. So, Nissa?
CrossFit and gaming.
Yeah.
I think what I do with my spare time, because if you don't know, I'm an NCO trainee in Denmark in the army, and I am actually gone for about 5 days of the week. I haven't been home for 2 weeks now, so I wasn't home last weekend. I went to some race thing called Nordic Race, where several persons can try and be an army guy for a day. But yeah, mainly just army stuff, you know. Shooting and telling people what to do. So my education is kind of also my hobby for now, but I think I really haven't got much time else to do that. So,
but yeah, cars and videos, it's like
that's the main thing.
The biggest passion.
Because this is also our hobby. That's not.
Yeah, this is a hobby. This isn't a job for us. This is just a hobby. Next question from William Mosley. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. Would you I assume that meant to say buy. Would you butt a 200/300 TDI? Oh no, it's probably meant to say put. Would you put a 200/300 TDI in the series and turn it into a proper sleeper?
I read that question. I didn't really understand that. I don't know if he doesn't know what a sleeper is or.
Yeah, like a sleeper is something that should be like look. I mean, you look at that thing; it looks kind of old, beat up. But on the inside, a sleeper should be crazy, like completely clean, powerful.
Yeah.
So like a wolf in sheep's clothing, as we'd say.
Yeah.
And a 200 and 300 TDI, although I'm sure you could modify them to be more powerful, like that's just like a normal Land Rover engine. So that's not really the idea. So no, we're not going to put either of those engines. Although 200 and 300 TDIs, they're not engines we've ever really touched.
No. We've got them around here. We've got like 2 or 3 cars.
We've got a couple, so maybe we'll play with them in the future, but we've never actually had a go.
Very reliable. They're like the AK-47 of Land Rover engines.
AK-47 of Land Rovers.
And the more you drive it, the more you like it. And I got picked up by my parents the other day in the 110 with a 300 TDI in it. And I drove out there, I thought it was a horrible engine, like the torque was all wrong and all that, but on my way back I actually really liked it. And I went back to get it back again, I was like in love with it. So the more you drive it, the better you like it. But right in the start it just sounds like an old beat up engine. Also the sound it makes, but in the high revs it really pulls.
I just realised how like scraggly and dirty we look, and I forgot to say that just before this we've been filming a pretty big video for TirsbaekTV.
Yeah.
So that's why we're like muddy and horrible.
We're always muddy when we are.
We're always muddy and horrible. But yeah, we've just been filming a pretty cool video for TirsbaekTV. So apart from this one. Next question from Amtrobia. How much would a D90 TD5 cost? How long is a piece of string? I mean, that's a too broad a question, really. I mean, you can spend.
Depends if it's in the UK.
Yeah, it depends where you live and what condition you want it in.
We don't know what we got ours for.
Mine was like, what was it, 90,000?
Yeah,
like 9,000 pounds. But in this country, cars are really expensive. So 9,000 pounds for what my car is probably. I mean, my car probably 5,000 or 6,000 pounds in the UK from when I got it. So, and yours was nothing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like nothing. I could sell it for about 80,000 Danish kroner now. But that's it.
So yeah, I mean that's too difficult to ask. Your best bet is just to go.
Yeah.
Depending on where you live, if like you're in the UK, go on Auto Trader or eBay. Although I don't know if I'd use eBay for cars, but Auto Trader.
But you can get some really good deals out of it.
Yeah,
like the series. My dad said if we could get number plates on that, we could sell it for 40,000 Danish kroner.
Land Rovers, Land Rovers have very hugely varied price ranges, amongst other things. So I don't really know how to answer that, I'm afraid. Just Google is your friend.
We can say that to all our questions.
Google. What, so, like the question, do you have time for girls? And just Google it.
Google it. Do we? No. Maybe.
My fly wasn't done. From Alex Titensa. Q&A. Which is better? Suzuki Vitara or Mitsubishi Pinin? I have no idea. I think I know what a Suzuki Vitara is. It's one of those small 4x4s, which I think are supposed to be quite good actually, but I know nothing about them. And Mitsubishi Pinin, I have no idea what that is. I'm going to put a picture of both of them on the screen because I'll Google them when I edit this video. But I have no idea where either of them are. But I like Suzuki because I have a Suzuki dirt bike, so I'm going to say Suzuki.
And we really don't know anything about other cars and Land Rovers. I know a bit about the Geländewagen because I've been working with them in the army, and they're actually really cool. They're really similar to the Land Rover inside. It's like they've just copied.
Aren't they very they're German? So they'd be like, once it is built, you must not take it apart. Because German cars are notorious for just being built like tanks, so you can't take them apart once they're built. Whereas a Land Rover just takes itself apart for you.
Except for your oil filter.
Except for the oil, except for the TD5 bloody oil filter, which is travelling to Mordor was easier than travelling to that oil filter. Okay, and also from the same person, what editing software do you use? Final Cut Pro 10 for Mac. which is not a free software, but it's a very good software.
We've been using that like all the time.
We started off, actually, the very first videos we did were with Windows Movie Maker. I remember doing that on your PC. And Windows Movie Maker is just, it's like the Comic Sans of editing software.
Yeah.
Which, a comic, that might not make sense, but Comic Sans is that font that you see used in every like primary school thing. Yeah, don't use Windows Movie Maker. But if you don't have Final Cut Pro and you don't want to pay for it, we used to use iMovie as well, and Final Cut Pro is actually kind of similar to iMovie, just Final Cut Pro is way more advanced, but the layout is quite similar. But you need a Mac for those. But we've always used Mac for editing, and it's Final Cut Pro is the answer. I don't really know any other editing softwares, so sorry. Q&A, what do you guys do for a living? From Cobelco135W. Well, I graduated from university a few months ago, and I now run my own media business, which I've just started up recently.
I'm doing army stuff. I've done the last year after I graduated from, I think it's high school they call it, high school, college, in between those two.
Oh, what, gymnasium?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's high school.
Yeah, high
That's
school.
what we call it, or secondary school if you're in the UK.
Then I just joined the army, been there for 8 months, joined a standing unit for about a bit over a month, and now I'm into a NTO school, being an NTO trainee, which I've done about halfway now. Still got 2 more months on the school bench, teaching other people, or teaching me how to teach other people. And then I've got about 2 months where I'm just driving tanks and shooting very big guns, which I like. But that's our jobs in our spare time, which also means I'm not home for 5 days of the week, as I said, which is only why we can make videos on the weekends.
Yeah.
So it kind of restricts it a bit.
Yeah. And then also from the same person, favourite Land Rover? Mine.
Favourite Land Rover? Might be that SVX model.
Yeah, I mean,
The 3.9.
I would say either my own, because I'm going to be biased towards that, or the Range Rover SVR, which I adore,
the SVR, yeah.
which is like a 550 horsepower Range Rover, which I so desperately want.
Land Rover, if you're watching this,
It depends.
can we borrow one just for the day?
Land Rover, please? Can we have a Range Rover SVR? Can we borrow one, and we'll make some awesome videos for you? Because good God, I want to have a go on one of those. I mean, in all seriousness, the question favourite Land Rover. The problem is, do you mean like Land Rovers officially made by Land Rover, or do you mean ones that have been made by other people? Because there are a lot that have been custom built. So I don't know. It's difficult to say, but mine for sure. And then I guess I'd say a Range Rover SVR.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good garage to have. You have a Range Rover for daily and your Defender for off-roading and fun. Next question from George G. If you had to buy another 4x4 but it couldn't be a Land Rover, what would it be? If money were no option, or no no issue,
I know what you're going for.
then the Mercedes G-Class 6x6. That's what it would be, but they cost about £250,000. But if money were no object, it would be that. But if it was like within the sort of Defender price range, I don't know, maybe a G-Wagon actually, like an old one.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of similar, but they're German, so they're probably just similar but reliable. And otherwise, I don't know, to be honest. I'm not that keen on like Toyotas and Mitsubishis because they just they lack character, I think.
They do. They're just mass productions of the
they're
same
all mass
car.
production and they're all kind of bland.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really go for that. So I don't know. I'm going to just say, because I can't think of anything else, I'm going to go with like Mercedes G-Wagon.
Yeah, I would also say
I
the
don't
Mercedes
know what
G-Wagon.
else.
But not the newer ones, not those big flashy, what do you call it?
Well,
Chelsea
that would be out of
tractors.
the price range.
Yeah, probably would.
So,
but just an old army one.
Yeah, an old
with low
G-Wagon.
mileage. That's perfect for me. They do make it with like a V6 diesel engine.
Yeah.
They're quite good and big turbos.
Next. Which engine is better, TD3 or TD5?
TD3?
I think that's a spelling mistake because...
TD4?
Yeah, I think it's meant to say TD4 because I don't think there's such thing as a TD3.
Joke.
So, Lawn Tractor Boy, who asked the question.
That's name.
Lawn Tractor Boy, yes.
That's a cool name.
Lawn Tractor Boy.
Yeah, Lawn
Right.
Tractor Boy.
Lawn Tractor Boy. You have a cool name, apparently. So, assuming that's meant to say TD4, TD5, all the way.
Yeah, because the TD4 is taken out of a Ford Transit.
Well, no, it depends which one, because the Freelander is also a TD4, but that's a different engine.
Oh, I see.
But if it's the Puma, let's say it's the Puma because we're talking about Defenders.
That's what I thought.
Then TD5, because it's so much more. There's so much more you can do to it. You can tune it and you can straight pipe it, and it sounds amazing. TD4 is a Puma engine, although it might be a good engine for a Defender if you're just working. It's not the most interesting.
Yeah,
engine.
like an everyday drive, probably be quite good.
Yeah, it's probably a bit
Puma
smoother.
it's a bit better.
But no,
definitely
TD5.
the TD5.
Yeah.
Although it might not be as reliable, maybe, as some say. But again, some people say it's not very good.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people are lucky, some people aren't. From Jan Letalic, how do you guys first met and became both fan of Land Rover? How came the idea of this channel? How did we first meet? Well, we're cousins, so it's like we haven't really like met. We've always just known each other because we're family. So we've known each other for our whole lives. So that's that. And how did you both become a fan of Land Rover? That's again kind of due to family, because everyone in this family, like mainly Nissa's dad is, I guess, the main main reason.
Yeah,
because Nissa's dad is a huge Land Rover enthusiast, and he also kind of manages, I guess, Land Rover experience for Denmark.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nissa's dad's a Land Rover enthusiast, and that's just kind of trickled down, and pretty much everyone in our family drives a Land Rover.
Yeah.
So that's why it's just rubbed off on us. And we live on a farm, and on a farm where like all the working cars are Land Rovers. So it's just what we've grown up with and what we've fallen in love with, basically.
It was like the first car we ever drove in.
Yeah, and for both of us, it's like the car we learned to drive in as well.
That's also a Land Rover, so.
How came the idea of this channel? That's kind of a funny story, because it was...
That was a GoPro from Guernsey I brought.
Yeah, Nissa bought a GoPro. The very first generation of GoPro. Wow, GoPro, not GoPro. GoPro, and yeah, I remember you buying it, and then I was just like, I remember saying to you, oh, you know, we've got Land Rovers, because you just started driving the lightweight.
Yeah,
we've got an old Land Rover lightweight, 88-inch, the military one, which Nissa drove around for a while.
We fished it from out the backyard.
Yeah, we just kind of,
I wonder if it ever would drive again. We just started it up and it worked.
Sorry, bit of a camera mess up, but continuing that question. We fished out the old lightweight Land Rover. We just bought a GoPro, and we said, why don't we stick the GoPro on it and go make a video? So, you know, we just stuck the GoPro on the front of this Land Rover and went for a drive in the woods. I remember it was pouring down with rain.
It was.
And we stuck it on with duct tape, because we bought the GoPro, but I don't think we had any of the like attachments.
We took like the mount that came in the box.
Yeah, the mount that came in the box.
Put some tape on it.
Duct tape it to the front bumper of this Land Rover lightweight, drove around. That was literally it, just driving around. No music, no talking, nothing. You didn't see us or anything. And that video isn't actually on YouTube, but maybe we'll put a clip in or something like down in the corner.
We still got it.
We've still got the video, it's still on YouTube, it's just private, because it doesn't really fit into what we do now. And that was that, and then we just kind of like became fascinated with making videos, so it was...
Yeah, and also the support of the people.
Yeah, and people were really
so
interested.
shitty quality and all that.
It was terrible.
Still kind of supported us, which just kept on going.
And we just became fascinated with it, and I remember like the second video, like, oh, we could try putting music on it.
Yeah.
And then we just built it up, and then we got like better equipment, and then we were like, oh, why don't we try actually like talking to the camera?
Yeah.
And it just built up and up and up, and then eventually like we got our own cars, and it just sort of grew into what it is now, and that's basically how it happened.
Yeah, we're still growing, we're still getting new equipment.
And we're still growing, and we're still kind of figuring out new things all the time, so it's always changing.
Like the website we've got ongoing now.
Yeah, in fact, we actually have a website for TirsbaekTV now, and if you want to know more about that story of how we started, it's on the website as well. Next question from William Evans. When are the BBC going to get their act together and employ you guys as the new presenters of Top Gear? It's funny that, because I sent them an email and I haven't heard back. No. A lot of people have been saying this actually, and it's very, very kind of you, especially when there are much bigger car YouTube channels. So it's amazing that people have been saying this, that we should be the presenters of Top Gear. In all seriousness, we're probably not going to be presenters of Top Gear anytime soon.
We're just two blokes.
But I will tell you, if you remember when Top Gear kind of changed over to the way it is now, they did auditions for the thing, and I actually did audition I sent in an audition for the new Top Gear. Unfortunately, I'm still.
You're still sitting here in a barn in Denmark.
I'm sitting in a dusty barn, so you can imagine I didn't get a response from that. But no, I did audition, and if anyone asks, can we see the audition? No, I'm not going to upload it.
I want to see it.
It was only like, it was like a 20-second clip or something, and you just had to. It was actually really difficult to think of what to say in 20 seconds because it's such a short amount of time. But I did that. But no, we're not on Top Gear. No. Right, Captain Clark. This guy has. I must give you a bit of a shout out because you are one of the longest subscribers we've ever had.
Yeah.
You've been around for yonks. So thank you for your support. Q&A, if Land Rover employed you guys to design the next Defender, what features would you design into it?
Ooh.
Oh.
That is actually a really good question. I would love to have a piece of paper now and just writing it all down.
You know, we could sit for hours though.
Yeah,
because that's a whole video in itself. I tell you what I would do, something I notice whenever I'm working on or cleaning my Land Rover or whatever, there are so many like gaps and holes in that car and places that just are perfect for water and mud to sit.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first things I'd do is, you know, I would kind of take the current Land Rover but try and get rid of all these like the
all
flaws,
the angles and stuff, just make all the bits round,
the bits that cause water to sit and make car rust and everything, and the gaps. Like if you look at the gaps, there's a huge gaps around the bonnet and everything, and there's sort of gutters everywhere which just collect water. And like the rear door handle, like on the Defender, like it's got that sort of pocket and it sits and water. Oh, we've actually got a door. Oh my god. Demonstration. We have a door here.
If you point out hole.
Here, water collects. It's like a huge, it goes really deep.
Like
water collects in here. So things like that, I would design out. I would get rid of. Apart from that, I guess like maybe looking into the safety, because it has no airbags or no crumple zones. Even though actually Defenders are kind of safe in crashes, I think, because they're so like solid, so they don't really crumple. But obviously in a high-speed crash, they're probably not very good.
But with the crashes I've seen on Facebook, like people crashing together,
yeah,
got like
it's just like
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Series. Got no major damage onto it.
I don't really know what else, but I'd keep the modular design to make it, because they're so easy to modify. Just like, you know, putting your tree sliders on, you just bolt them onto the side.
But definitely also lockers on the diff locks, whereas the G-Wagons have got those as standard, so you can lock the front and rear diff. I've really needed those a couple of times when I've got stuck. Just click a button and you lock the front and rear diff.
Next one from Off-Road Channel. Do you guys have regular jobs? Bracket, I suppose the farms are your parents? Question mark. If yes, what do you do for a living? Yeah, the farm we live on is owned by Mrs. Dad, and do we have regular jobs? You've already answered that. I am a business, Mrs. in the army.
Well, that's not really a job, it's just an occupation. But I also work down here when I can. Like yesterday, I was drawing.
Yeah, and we both work on this farm as well, like in spare time if we're needed. During harvest, for example.
Well, that's just to get like fuel and stuff to get that from my dad. Not just, you don't get money for doing it, really.
Q&A, do you like the Defender Inspector? Yes. Like, why wouldn't you? Yeah, I do. I think the Land Rovers in that film deserved more airtime. Like, the Defenders are awesome, but they weren't in the film for long enough.
No.
And actually, I wasn't that keen on Spectre. I much preferred Skyfall.
Yeah, Skyfall.
Skyfall was much better. But yes, I do like the Defender.
And I do also like taking the Defender, like such a rough vehicle, and not just a pumped up Jeep. They got like a million different units in it, but just a plain Defender in it.
Yeah.
With the normal seats and not some huge bucket or bobs in it. I really like that. It's so plain.
In fact, there's been Defenders in every single of the new James Bond films.
Yeah.
Casino Royale, Quantum Solace, Skyfall, Inspector.
I'll probably stop now because they're not producing them.
Producing. Well, I don't know. They got old ones, I suppose.
I don't think you'll use old ones though.
Brendan Mosley. What does your name mean in English? Well, my name's Liam, which is like it's fairly English. So maybe.
What does it mean?
I don't know. It means that's something. It means I like Land Rovers. Nissa, maybe it means
Christian.
Yeah, Nissa's name is actually a nickname. That's not his real name.
It's Nils Christian Graveyard.
Is that what
all
it
green
means?
using Hugo.
Okay,
That's graveyard.
That's your second name.
Yeah. So my second name is actually graveyard. That's weird, actually, to think about it. But I know in Chinese, I think it's my middle name as well. It might be my ending name is cigarette butt. Translated into Chinese.
Wow. And that's so romantic.
Yeah.
I love you, cigarette butt.
That's a bit weird.
Next. Jesus, we got a lot of questions. I didn't realise how many we had. From Bram DG. Q&A, do you guys live in Denmark? What do you love and dislike about your country? What do you really recommend us to visit with our 4x4? Yes, we live in Denmark. What do you love and dislike about your country? What I dislike, taxes, because this is the most taxed country in the world. And the annoying thing is we're both big petrol heads and cars are hugely taxed. Yeah. So we're in like the worst country for cars.
So like getting the heritage we've got, or my dad got, getting that on number plate would cost about 3 times the cost of the actual car itself.
Yeah.
So it'll take a couple of years before.
If you went out and bought one of the brand new Defenders, like just before they ended, and wanted to put it on what we call white number plates, so you'd have just a normal car basically with all the seats.
Yeah, with rear seats as well.
It would cost you, like a Defender, it'd be like 60 grand, £60,000. I mean, I know they've gone up as well now, so they're almost that much already.
Or if you take an old car like that, like a veteran one, you only have to pay about 800 krona a year to keep it on number plates, and it's really cheap as well to get it on. That's also why we are doing that one and not a brand new Defender, because we just haven't got the budget for that.
And we're also running out of batteries, so hopefully we can do this before that runs out. What do I love about the country though? I love the people. I just love the culture, and I can't go too deep in because we'll be here all night. But yeah, I love the culture. I love architecture. I love the people. Blah blah blah. That's that. What do you really recommend us to visit? I don't know, to be honest.
Like visit them
with 4x4s.
With 4x4s, you can visit them here though.
Yeah, come visit us.
Yeah.
Right, Land Rover Adventure. How did you get all those beautiful Land Rovers? Kind of already answered this. Nissa's dad is a Land Rover enthusiast, and also sort of manages Land Rover experience for Denmark. So that's the answer to that. So we just happen to have access to a lot of Land Rovers.
You guys haven't seen all the Land Rovers yet?
Yeah, we've got a lot more than we actually know about. We've got like 2 more buildings full of Land Rovers.
And we just got a new one as well. Land Rover Experience got that brand new one.
Yeah, we've just got a brand new Defender actually. James Campbell, road trip. If so, where? Ooh. Oh, that's a good question. I would love to do a road trip actually one day, but I'll tell you one place I really want to go back to. A few years ago I went to Iceland, and I was actually part of a school trip. But that is just like the most amazing place I've ever been, and there's tons and tons of Land Rovers and 4x4s in general there. So I'd love to do a Land Rover road trip to Iceland. That's my answer.
My answer is actually also from a school trip where I went to Malta, and that is the coolest place ever. They've got Defenders everywhere, in all shapes and sizes, and not just all the cliffs, and it's all dry and the water's near. And I really like Malta. I would love to do a road trip around that.
Tim Kirschbaumer, hopefully I said that right. Favourite Defender setup besides your own, brackets 110, 130, SW, CC, etc. I really like 110 double cabs actually. Like for example, like the one in Spectre, because I don't know. I think the pickup truck layout looks really cool. So I like those, and 90 pickups. I think they're very cool because you can have some really nice roll cages and things. The other thing I would love to do one day is make a Defender 90 camper van, not a 110, because I think 110, although you've got more room, I just like the compact size of a 90, so I'd love to make a 90 camper van. You can make like a really cool bed in the back or something.
I think you can't sleep in there.
Huh?
You can't make a bed inside a 90.
I've seen people do it. So that's my answer, 110 double cab or a 90 sort of camper thing.
Yeah. I think I really like when they're short, when you're doing off-roading. I don't like 110 and 130.
Yeah, they're too big.
Bus. Yeah, but for expedition, it's really cool to have a 110 and 130. The same as a 101. Make that into a camper van, that would be absolutely awesome. But I think my favourite setup at the moment is probably my Series 3. I'm planning to to make it into a pickup and then get that bikini top down onto it.
Oh yeah, that's another good one.
That's absolutely. I would love to drive that around in the summer.
Next planned changes, upgrades to your own vehicles. I don't know. The thing is, when we do mods to our own cars, they're actually quite spontaneous. We don't really plan anything. It's just like, you go on the internet or you get an idea from somewhere and you go, oh, I want to do that, and you do it. So I don't know. We haven't got anything in, or at least I haven't. I don't know about Nissa, but I haven't got anything in mind personally at the moment. At least nothing I can afford. So I don't really know how to answer that.
No, I really haven't got anything else for mine. Although driving on the highway, I would love to have that bit more oomph on it when you're doing the high revs on it. But probably just needing to get a new engine in at some point. But that will probably keep going on at least 100 k's more.
Because we're kind of working on these two.
Yeah, we've still got these two to work on.
That's the thing. They're getting less focus for now.
Yeah, they're also our daily drivers really. So they're just transporting us from A to B. Where we got, these ones for
well, a car never. If you're a petrol head, a car is never just an A to B thing. But anyway, no, done that one. If you could right now, would you switch your own Defenders for a different model? Which one and if why? No.
No.
I'd rather modify the car I've got than get a new one.
Yeah, probably got the same feeling.
So no, I wouldn't swap it out for anything.
It depends if it's a brand new one. Probably would. But
if I could go get like one of the last autobiography editions, I'd go sell it. I'd go take that and then go sell it for like £150,000 and go buy what I want. So another question from the same person: how big is the farm? Seems incredibly large. This big. From Jordan Underwood. What has both of yours first landies? The ones we have.
Yeah.
And you still really enjoying the videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you. What's your favourite car? Defender. The thing is, favourite car and dream car, I think, are two different things. I think favourite car has to be something you can actually achieve. So, for my favourite car would be a Defender, because obvious reasons. My dream car, I'm going to be really nerdy here, is a Pagani Zonda Cinque, which I'll put a picture of on the screen. That's my dream car. Nizza?
My dream car is probably also my Defender, because I really like it and I would drive it to the end of the world and back. But I think my dream car might be, because it doesn't look like a guy who likes speed that much, but I would love to try and have a Supra 2JC and just pump it up, or Nissan GTR.
That's the thing.
Or the Mazda RX with the rotary engine. I would love to try one of those, because I'm really into two-stroke as well when it comes to dirt bikes. That's like a two-stroke put into a car. I just love the sound of it and the way it pulls.
That's the thing. But both of us being petrol heads, I mean, if I had infinite money, I would have about 50 cars.
Yeah, you can't just say that one.
You can't. It's so difficult to say I want that one. I just have these because I would have so many cars if I could. I think we both would.
The same as I like the GTR and the Supra, but still I would also like to have a tank standing in the other end of the garage, because
I'd like a Spitfire in my garden.
Yeah, you can see them. You can't just point them out, but.
Okay, so penultimate question now from Jack Donaldson. Do you guys have girlfriends/boyfriends? No, we do not have girlfriends or boyfriends. And how do you cope with your Land Rover addictions? By doing this.
Yeah.
Thank you, love you guys better than Top Gear. Thank you. And the last question from Toby Wells. Can I please have one of your Land Rovers? Pretty please. No.
No.
Afraid not. Unless you want to give me £1 billion. Otherwise, no.
No.
And that is all of the questions. That took far longer than I thought, but it was good fun. So thank you very much if you submitted a question. We will definitely do one of these again in the future, because I did not expect to get that many questions at all. I thought it'd be like 3 questions and we wouldn't be able to do a full video.
Woo, we back.
Back again, sorry, more camera mess ups. We're running out of memory and battery now. But we've done all the questions, that's alright. So, like we were saying, we'll definitely do one of these again in the future, because we got a ton of questions and we didn't expect that. And once again, a huge thank you to A, everyone who submitted a question, and B, everyone who subscribed and continues to support these videos in any way, just by watching them or liking them or commenting or sharing or whatever it is you do. We're slightly overwhelmed by the support we get. It's pretty crazy. So thank you so much for your continued support, and there's so much more to come from TirsbaekTV, and we've got some pretty exciting things coming up. In fact,
we're going to the Land Rover show.
Yeah, we can say that now.
Yeah.
If you've made it, that's a reward if you've made it all the way to the end of this video. Both Nissa and I will be going to the Land Rover Owners, I think it's called Land Rover Owners, the LRO show in Peterborough on, I can't remember the date now. It's the 17th or something of September.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to the Land Rover show in Peterborough this year. I will be there on Saturday, and we'll both be there on Saturday and Sunday. So if you see us there, feel free to come and say hello, and it would be awesome if we could meet some of you guys. But we're really looking forward to that. But we've got other big stuff coming up as well, but that is one of the things we have coming up. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of other surprises in store for the rest of the year. So thank you very, very, very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.